Hello, beautiful people. Thank you so much for tuning in, watching, and listening. This is going to be the mid-March 2022 reading for the zodiac sign of Taurus. As always, my readings are very intuitive, so I'll provide you the meaning of the tarot cards as well as any intuitive messages that I receive. I do recommend you check out your sun, moon, and rising just to get a full picture of everything that's going on. And if you haven't done so already, please do subscribe to my YouTube channel. That helps me really greatly. And also when you subscribe, you'll be notified when I post videos in the future. I typically post a couple Taurus videos a month. But let's go and jump in and get started. And column number 1, we're going to take a look at what's wrapping up and coming to a close for you. Column number 2 is going to be what's going to happen through the end of March. We're going to do a money column, a love column, and in the 5th and final column, we're going to do a message from our future self or spirit guides. We're also going to do 3 yes or no questions, a healing crystal, and a healing gnome for you. But let's pull a summary card and hop in and see what's wrapping up and coming to a close for you. We have the card Stretch. Stretch is an interesting card, and the meaning that's coming through so far for you, Taurus, is I feel like some of you feel like you've been kind of having to push a little harder, really stretch to get things done in the last few weeks. The nice thing about that is that this is again what's wrapping up and closing for you. So for some of you that feel like you've been having to reach for something really hard, that's going to end. But let's see what messages I can give you here. The first card that we have is the Queen of Swords. The Queen of Swords is being very self-sufficient. So in the last few weeks, you maybe have not felt like you've had the support that you've needed. You've had a lot going on, Taurus, again, really stretching and reaching to get things done, likely without a ton of support. The next card that we have is the Ace of Pentacles. Anytime we have an ace card, it's a card of newness. With the Ace of Pentacles, this is a new job, raise, promotion, investment, income. I'm not surprised to see this because we've had so many money readings for you recently, Taurus. So I think this is just indicating money coming in. Again, tons and tons of money energy for you lately. The next card that we have is the Four of Swords. The Four of Swords is a card of needing to rest, retreat, recover. Again, some of you have been really stretching hard, reaching hard, working hard these last few weeks. This is just a reminder to make sure that you're excuse me, sorry Taurus, make sure that you're resting, recovering, kind of renewing those energies because a lot's been happening for you. Now let's clarify through this column and see what messages I can give you here. The first card we have is the Star card. The Star card is a card of hope and inner clarity. I do think that a lot of you have learned something through this self-sufficiency, so maybe not relying on others, but this gave you some clarity that maybe you could even be doing things on your own, or maybe it's a reflection of how much you've done in such a short period of time. The next card that we have is the Hermit. The Hermit is a card about going within for clarity. It's about being on a quest or a journey. This light that's there is the light within you. Definitely, Taurus, there is no doubt about it, you're on your money journey. The next card that we have is the Fool card. The Fool card is a card of new beginnings. It's the first card in the Major Arcana deck. It's fresh hope, taking chances, going on a new path, going on a new adventure, new beginnings. So I think this is saying that in the next few weeks, you'll be entering into a period where you're not in this stretched position. You're not having to reach so hard for everything that's going on. You should be well rested and ready to go for this new phase. Now we're going to take a look at our next column, which is how the month of March is going to end for you. So kind of what we've got going on there. We have the card Influence. This is a reminder, Taurus, that you have a lot of influence on a lot of different things, whether it's people, your environment, your mindset. Don't forget the things that you do have control over and the things that you can influence. The first card that we have is the Nine of Pentacles. Of course, you will have another money card because that's just who we are these days, Taurus. But we have the Nine of Pentacles here. The Nine of Pentacles, I do want to highlight one meaning of this card. This is self-sufficiency. And we were talking that there's been like a lot, that you're doing a lot for yourself. This is a good reminder that when you're doing a lot for yourself, you have a lot of influence over things too. But the other meaning of this card could definitely be financial gain. So I do continue to see these financial gains coming in for you, Taurus, which is really wonderful. The next card we have is the Six of Cups. The Six of Cups is a card of nostalgia, could be reflecting. Interestingly enough, I think it's good to have a good understanding of what's happened so you can influence your future. That might sound like an odd message, but that's the message that I'm getting there for you. This could also be a card of gifts, so you might be getting a gift that you weren't expecting. You see this person is handing the other person a cup with some flowers in it. So there could very well be a gift in the remainder of the month for you. The next card that we have is the Strength card. The Strength card is a card of self-love, unconditional love, self-respect. With the line, it's also a card of courage. There's a lot of self-talk for you, especially coming in from the last few weeks and now this week. It's about you and what you can do for you, Taurus, is the message that's there. Let's clarify this column, though, and see if I can give you any other insight. The first clarifying card we have is the King of Swords. The King of Swords is very intentional, very strategic, very long-term. Not surprised to see this because, again, you have a direct influence on your future, your surroundings, who you are, what you're doing. The King of Swords is very long-term, so a lot of that kind of future planning type energy associated with it. It's also very intentional. I feel like a lot of you have been very intentional with money lately, and that's why there has been so many money cards for you, Taurus. This is also saying, since we have that financial gain, when we think King of Swords, this is long term. So I would say that this is long-term money coming to you as well. The next card that we have is the Moon card. The Moon card is a card of voluntary changes. It's also a card of clarity, though, trusting your intuition. You see the face in the moon there, that's intuition indicator. With the Six of Cups, again, this oftentimes can be a reunion of some sort, getting back together with people. If that's the case and you're reconnecting from somebody in the past, you do want to make sure you're trusting your intuition that reconnection or that rekindling is the right thing to do. With the Six of Cups, we also were talking about reflection. And in terms of associating that with the Moon card, again, it's like understanding where we were so we can know where we want to go. So we're looking back, reflecting, understanding what happened, and like maybe you did this and then the scenario turned out a certain way. So it's like you can use that in the future if you didn't like the outcome to change the way that you view things, or vice versa. If you liked the outcome, then you can continue to replicate that so you get that same really positive result for yourself, Taurus. Again, influence definitely is major here. This is saying you have influence over it. Trusting your intuition and making decisions and changes based on what you want to see. Definitely some reflection associated there. Then at the bottom here we have the Hangman. The Hangman is a very stagnant card. You're quite literally hanging there by your foot. It's kind of like being stuck. It's waiting for more information. I think for a lot of you, you were like waiting for somebody to come along and like nudge you and tell you it's okay. And Taurus, you may or may not get that. With the Strength card, this is again about self, and this is like doing for you, loving yourself, taking care of yourself, respecting yourself. So again, I don't know that I would like wait for somebody to come along and tell you or do any of those things for you. You're absolutely doing them for yourself. Again, this is about you and what you can do for you. The next section, we're going to talk about money, anything related to money. So think career, job, finances, businesses you run, investments, anything in the money vein here. The first card we have is the Page of Wands. The Page of Wands is a very active person, this person being you, so lots of movement in the work and money column this month. The Page of Wands can also be a new project though, so a lot of you are going to be taking on something new. This could be starting a new business, taking on a new project at work, taking on a new role or responsibility. There's definitely something new, maybe this is a new investment as well, something new coming on that you're going to be taking on in the end of March. The next card that we have is the Five of Swords. The Five of Swords is a card of not very good relationships. This person could be a bully. There could be some sort of theft or like some sort of abuse. So there's likely a coworker that you're not getting along with very well. Like they're just not very nice. You're not really jiving. Your energies aren't very aligned. We're going to clarify that and see if that remedies in the next few months. But I feel like there is some tension or conflict related to work for some of you. And then at the bottom we have the Emperor card. The Emperor card is a card of respect, leadership, and strategic planning. The nice thing is I feel like maybe you're feeling like you're not being very well respected with the Five of Swords, but it's followed by a very respectful card with the Emperor. Some of you could be moving into a leadership role too. The Emperor is very much so associated with leadership. And then long term, I like to see these long term type cards in the money column because it means what you're doing with money is the right thing to be doing long term. So let's clarify out this row and see what messages we have. So for those of you who watched my videos before, you know I love when this happens. We have the same card on top of each other. When that happens, it's like the universe saying, hey, I meant what I said. I said what I said. So with the Page of Wands, we were talking about this being very active, which again is you. You're going to have a very active ending of the month. But this is taking on something new. Again, I'm not sure if this is a new job role, responsibility, new project, but you absolutely will be taking on something new at the end of the month here. The next card we have is the Nine of Wands. The Nine of Wands is actually a good card, in my opinion. If you look at this person, they build kind of a fence around themselves. I wouldn't say a wall, but this fence helps them filter things in. And the Nine of Wands is about being persistent, but it's also about keeping and maintaining boundaries. And with this fence that was built around this person, they can kind of filter in the good things and keep out the rest. So whoever this relationship is that's not very good, you're going to be able to set boundaries with them and kind of just close them out. With the Nine of Wands, we're only taking on things that are good for us and all other energies are staying out. So I'm glad to see the Nine of Wands on top of that Five of Swords there. The next card we have is the Eight of Wands. The Eight of Wands is a card of speed, quick change. It's a very speedy card. It could also be news coming in. It's paired on top of the Emperor, which is a card of respect. I do think, like I said, this Five of Swords, conflict, not very healthy relationship between the boundaries. There will be some sort of new respect that comes in there for you. But the Emperor card is also very strategic, so you might feel like a very quick money shift. Again, money keeps coming up for you, Taurus, so there could be some very quick and fast money news coming in that's also going to help you on that strategic plan. That long-term thinking. Our next column, we're going to talk about love. So this could be love, relationships, family, friends, children, anything that we associate with love. The first card we have is the Devil card. I've seen a lot of the Devil card for these mid-month readings. I think a lot of people have just had a lot happen at the beginning of March, and I feel like when we get tired, then we get into this cycle of overthinking too. But with the Devil card, this is a card of greed, envy, materialism, obsession. And I do feel like some of you are like hyper focused or obsessed on something. We're going to clarify that a little bit more. But it's just like you're sinking a lot of energy into something love related, Taurus, that you likely don't need to be giving that much attention to. The next card that we have is the Two of Pentacles. The Two of Pentacles is like multitasking, weighing lots of different things. Again, I feel like a lot of you have just had a lot going on in the beginning of this month, and March has just been a busy month. So I feel like you're juggling all things. Maybe your workload is really heavy. It's like peak season for your kids playing sports. Maybe your spouse also is doing an extracurricular activity. It just feels like there's a lot going on that you're multitasking and juggling. At the bottom, we have the Six of Wands. This is a card of success, award, recognition. So I do feel like even though we're kind of like really focused on something, we have a lot going on, I think it's going to be a successful month. I think if you're in a relationship, you're doing really well in the relationship, even though there's a ton going on. If you're single, I think you're doing really, really well for yourself. there's just a lot of happiness and success when it comes to love. Success is what keeps sticking out with this, which is kind of odd to say, but it's just like you're doing well on the love front this month, Taurus. Let's clarify and see what messages I can give you here. The first card we have at the top there is the Ten of Cups. For those of you that have watched my videos before, know that the Ten of Cups is my favorite card in the entire deck. If you look, there's a rainbow of full cups at the top. There's a happy couple. There's kids playing. The grass is green. There's water running. There's a house in the background. It's just like the card of everything. The Ten of Cups is a card of family, contentment, total love, and support. Remember I was saying success, like you're just doing well, you have it all. So whatever this thing is that you're worried about related to love, I just wouldn't. You genuinely have it all, Taurus. You don't need to worry. If some of you are hoping to grow your family, this is usually a really good card. And even if you're hoping to buy a house, I know this isn't the investment column, but a lot of times houses associated with families, so this could be a good sign for buying a house as well. The next card we have is the Ten of Wands. Not super surprised to see this card. The Ten of Wands is a card of stress, exhaustion, having lots of burdens. You see there's just one person carrying an entire bundle of wood here. Tons and tons going on. Again, we already acknowledged that you're really multitasking and juggling a lot of things, it seems, this month, Taurus. Then at the bottom we have the Empress card. The Empress card is a really good card. We were talking about with the Six of Wands how successful it is. This is a card of abundance. There's abundance of positive feelings, happiness, success for you. This is also a card of creation, pregnancy and fertility. So again, for those of you hoping to get pregnant, or maybe there will be a grandchild in the future, but definitely some good fertility type cards in this reading for you as well, Taurus. Now this time, let's take a look at our fifth and final column, which is a message from our future self or spirit guides. We have the card Unity. Unity is good. Hopefully you'll be feeling some more unity going into the end of the month. But let's see what messages we have here. All right, look at all those thrones there. The first card we have is the Queen of Wands. The Queen of Wands is, again, self-assurance, being self-confident. Again, there's lots and lots of self cards here, so make sure you're doing for you this month, Taurus. I'm going to stick behind that message. The next message that we have is the King of Wands. So we have a Queen of Wands and the King of Wands. The King of Wands is saying that you're in a very powerful position. We talked about this earlier too, but again, there's a lot that you have influence over at this point, Taurus. Then at the bottom we have the Chariot card. The Chariot card is just a card of action and change. It's saying things are moving. There's no doubt based on all these other cards that things are moving forward for you, Taurus. This can also be a new car. I like to point that out. The Chariot is also associated with a new car, but it's the Vroom Vroom card. It just means things are moving for you. Let's see what messages I can give you here. We have the Eight of Swords. The Eight of Swords is a card of self-imposed restrictions. If you look at this person, they're blindfolded, their arms are bound down, but then there's all these swords stuck into the ground, and this person can very easily like wiggle backwards and cut themselves free. And I don't think that you realized how much, Taurus, you could do for yourself, how much you could do on your own. And again, the Queen of Wands is about being confident and being self-assured. It's wonderful if you have somebody that's hyping you up, but you also don't need it. You can do you, Taurus. The next card we have is the Six of Wands. The Six of Wands is a card of award, recognition, good news, success. Overall, things are moving forward in a really positive manner. I think we have the Six of Wands somewhere else already. I feel like we touched on this card at some point. But it's on top of the King of Wands, which is, again, very powerful. This is saying you can do whatever you want to do. You have so much power and so much influence. Then at the bottom here, we have the Strength card. We definitely had the Strength card earlier in this reading. I remember talking to you about this because, again, this is what you can do for yourself. The Strength card is about self-love, self-respect, courage, all things that you can do for you, Taurus. Now at this point in time, I'm going to give you the opportunity to ask 3 yes or no questions. We're going to use the Gypsy Witch fortune telling deck. If you don't have 3 questions in mind, Taurus, you can pause the video and think of them really quick. But for question number 1, we have we have the Queen of Hearts. This is number 23 card. That's going to be a yes. Question number 2, we have the Ace of Hearts. This is number 11 card. That's going to be a no. And for question number 3, we have the Three of Clubs. This is number 5 card. That's going to be a yes. So we have yes, no, yes, Taurus. If you watched our video earlier this month, we did pull a crystal from this healing stone stack. This is a crystal to keep with you throughout the month of March. You have the crystal of citrine. Not surprised to see it because it is very much so a money crystal, but this gives you a new lease on life. It helps with your self-worth. It gives you the joy for life, and it encourages you to follow some new paths. Last but not least, we're going to do a note from our healing note stack. Your note says, surround yourself with people who make you hungry for life, touch your hearts, and nourish your soul. Thank you so much, Taurus, for tuning in, watching, and listening. Please do like, comment, subscribe. Let me know how this video resonates with you. If you haven't done so already, please do subscribe to my channel. That helps me really greatly. And when you subscribe, you'll be notified when I post videos in the future. But thank you again. If you feel inclined, I did include my Venmo in the comments box if you'd like to make a donation. I hope you have a fabulous rest of March, Taurus.